Welcome to Allies or Enemies. I'm Jess.
And I am Sean, and this is a bunch of quick takes on some games that we are playing just recently.
These are all ones we've picked up in the past couple of months, and we're just really excited about them, so we wanted to share them with you.
And there are quite a few. I'm embarrassed that we have picked up this many games in a couple of months. A few of these were hanging around, and we got to playing them in the last couple of months, so just to put that little caveat in there, but this is all stuff we are excited about right now. So let's kick it off.
Our first game is Dungeons, Dice, and Danger, and this is a roll and write game, and we love roll and write games. And for this, you roll your dice, and then you kind of have to look at the numbers and see what combos they make in pairs of dice to cross off numbers that are on the dungeon. And you go through, and then you try and kind of kill the monsters. And I was really surprised at how well this worked as a solo game.
Yeah, we liked it at 2, but it is just taken off as a solo game. I just find Jess hiding out in the house playing this game all the time, and it's Richard Garfield, who you will almost certainly know from Magic and Magic and a whole ton of other games, but it's got such a great theme to it, with especially the dinosaurs map, which I really like. And even though it's mathy, it's just, there's something that you just want to like keep doing it and doing it and doing it, it's not like a Sudoku puzzle, but it's got that same kind of addictiveness to it.
It does, that puzzle, and it does have 4 different maps, but first thing we did was laminate it to make sure we could play each of them lots of times.
And that laminating has already paid for itself. Yeah, that has paid off. But that is Dungeons, Dice, and Danger. The next one that I wanted to talk about, because I feel like we jumped the gun on this one in our last quick takes video after we just played it a couple times, and we were on the fence about it, and we've played it a bit more, and we're off that fence. We do like this game, and the trick for us was originally the animals were too hard for us to draw and how they showed it, but in their defense they did say, hey, do shapes, and we thought shapes won't be as much fun. What we did though is just put animal faces on those shapes, and that is plenty of fun, and it turns out that actually the game underneath is pretty good.
And it looks adorable with having these kind of triangle chickens and circular pig shapes, and makes it that much faster to draw than trying to do the intricate animal drawings.
Yeah, so this one is better than we first thought, which I'm happy to say.
Another one that grew on us over time is The Crew. And so that was the original one we were a bit on the fence about at first, but then after 50 missions, we loved it and immediately picked up this second version, which is The Crew Mission Deep Sea. And it plays even better. They've just kind of streamlined it a little bit.
Yeah, the kind of, it's not the scoring system, but the quest system has been totally overhauled and fixed. And in this one, you just have cards that have levels 1, 2, 3, and you put out the number of cards that's the number of levels of the level, and each one of them has a different mission on them. And it's just super, super easy, and it's nice because it makes it way more replayable, because once you're done the mission, you can just do any. You can just do, hey, I think we can do like a level 10 right now. I think let's just do a level 4, and you can just do that at any time, which is great.
And on the box, it officially just says 3 to 5, like the original Crew, but they do have a 2-player variant that we found works really well.
Next up is Canvas. And so Canvas, we missed the original Kickstarter. We maybe even missed the second Kickstarter. I don't know, but it finally showed up in retail and we picked it up. And it's great. It's just super, super light, super pretty.
Yeah, it is a very light game of collecting these paintings, and you're trying to fulfill different goals based on the symbols of the painting. But we are a sucker for games that look beautiful. Mm-hmm. And this definitely falls into that, because the sheets are all transparent, and then you add them together to create what ends up being kind of a lovely painting that has a little tagline that we kind of get distracted by that.
Yeah, I especially do, because Jess is undefeated at this game, because I really am just on the quest to make the nicest painting, and we like this enough that we almost immediately picked up the second one as well. And I don't know if you can see it here, but this is why, because it makes such a nice picture together. Man, we're such suckers for this sort of thing. We've got so many book collections just because they have the same covers. Game collections will definitely do that too. And it does add, it's not necessary right away, but I think the second one does add a little bit.
Yeah, it makes the cards double-sided, so it makes being able to switch the kind of placement of those symbols a little bit better, which is a good addition to have. And the neat thing about both of these is they actually have a little hole on the back, so if you wanted to, you could just hang this up and display it as artwork, and it's actually a game.
And a lot of people do, and the new pictures in this just give me other ways to lose with beautiful paintings, which is all I want. So that is Canvas.
This next one is quite a small box. This is Harry Potter Similo, and we love Similo. It is very, very simple. All you do is one person knows what character is on a card that the other person needs to guess, and then you lay out the cards, and then you have to put a card down and say whether that card is similar or different to the character they're trying to guess. So we have a couple packs of Similo already. It plays really quickly. Apparently, I'm a poorer hinter than guesser.
So we track all of this, and when she's hinting, we win like 30%. When she's guessing, we win like 60%. And she tries to say that it's my fault that I'm a poor guesser and a stronger hinter, but I gotta tell you, the hinting that I get, I can't work with it.
No, I'm a very good guesser, which is why that ratio is skewed like that.
And it's such a great game to play with family or with kids or with, like, it's one of those you can explain it in 30 seconds and get playing and be chit-chatting and laughing while you're playing it. So, yeah, we love Similo. We love Harry Potter. This was an easy pickup. So next up is we didn't quite pick this up on vacation, but only because it was too expensive and we were like, we can get it for half that price when we get home. But we bought it as soon as we got home, and we think of it as one of our vacation games. And that is Luna Capital. And Luna Capital you're laying out kind of a card tableau with tiles on it, and then there's also a tile drafting where each turn you're drafting a section of your moon, and with that comes buildings that are below it, and those buildings get added round to round, and you build out your moon colony. And we've really been into this one. We played this oodles just lately.
Yeah, we really like tile placement games and things that you're building your own part of it. And it's just finding those combinations of grouping like buildings together, and the pacing works so well because first you put out one building and then two, then three, and the turns are so quick. So all of it together makes it a quick back and forth over 30 minutes that you then look at your moon colony at the end. Mm-hmm. So this is one that we actually did pick up on our vacation, and it was because it was a great small box, and we had heard some good things about it. And it is, like, for having so much in here, it's definitely a full game. And one of the things I really like about it is it's dice that move along a rondel, and they move depending on their pip values. And so that means you really have to be responsive to how the board is. I might have something in mind that I want to do, but then all of a sudden the dice are set up where I could get like tons of resources, and I don't want you to get them, so I'm going to do that move, but my storage space is limited. So it's really kind of tactical in terms of your decisions and when the order in which you do things.
Yeah, I love a big game in a small box, and this is totally that. There's so much to it I love this. We can fit so many of these on our shelves, and Devere do a good job of that. Both of these two games are from Devere, and they also do a good job of, there are a lot of different languages in the rule book, so I love that we could just, we could buy this in Italy and immediately play it because we didn't have to worry because it's in like 6 different languages, which I really, really appreciate with a game.
Yeah, we got a few of their games recently because Bitoku was another one that we've really enjoyed too.
We didn't realize, and then we just look at our shelves and like, hey, we've got 3 from these guys in like 3 months. So Devere's doing something right. Next up is an expansion, or I don't know if they call them yeah, they do. It says right on the box, expansion. It is definitely an expansion to a game we play a lot, which is Marvel Champions. And I was so excited to get Sinister Motives because it is Spider-Man, and it's even Into the Spider-Verse Spider-Man. I'm a big fan of Miles and Gwen, but it's got the old school villains, so it's Sinister Six and Venom and Mysterio And it's kind of just everything I want in a Marvel Champions box. Well, almost everything, because the next expansion is X-Men, and I am over the moon for that. I am so excited to get me some Colossus and Shadowcat.
We have been playing a lot of Marvel Champions recently because it's something that in the past few months that we kind of really have dove into, and it's a cooperative game that's pretty heavy in terms of it. It's not like super heavy, but it's not like Marvel United. It's definitely It's definitely have to kind of really coordinate and work together. And so having more of it to play and new things to play is always a treat. And then the Miles and Gwen are pretty cool. We had to tweak their decks a little bit from what you first get, but once you do that, then we found that they were fun characters.
That's kind of the nice thing with Champions is it can be as light or heavy as you want, so you can really get into the deck building. It's never going to be heavy, but you can get into that deck building and really like be interested in it and run the whole campaigns that come in the expansions, or you just play the characters as is and just kind of fight Rhino over and over if you felt like it, and it would still be fairly fun, which is why we've gotten so into this one. But that is Sinister Motives, and coming up soon is X-Men. Check that out. It looks awesome.
The next one is another cooperative, and this is Unlock. Specifically, this is the Epic Adventures. We really enjoy the Unlock series. We've played kind of almost all of the boxes that have come out, and it is essentially an escape room in a box. So you have a deck of cards, and there are 3 different kind of missions in each box. And then you use the cards as well as app integration to solve the clues and get through kind of the escape room puzzle. But they seem to have gotten better and better with all of them. So the more recent ones have been the ones I've enjoyed the most.
Yeah, and I am not generally a fan of apps in games, but this does it really well in a way that I'm actually like interested in what they're doing with it. And it's so interesting how they're using the app integration. Like you say, they've gotten better and better. If you're new to Unlock, buy the newest one first and work your way backwards. You don't need to start at the beginning for any reason. You may not even get all the way back to the start. That's fine. The newest ones are definitely the ones to get, and this one's one of the best ones that we played.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Next up is Azul Queen's Garden, and so this is the 4th in the Azul series, but the 3rd one that we've played, and we love base game Azul. The second one that we played, at least, Summer Pavilion, was great because it kind of leveled that up. It was like kind of twice as complex as regular Azul, which made it worthwhile. And this doubles that yet again. It is still a lot of fun, but it's just kind of be warned that this is no longer that super quick paced Azul tile laying. This is a thinky game now.
Yeah, it is going to be a little bit tougher for your decisions. The turns are going to be a little bit longer. The one other bit with this too is they made some interesting choices when it comes to the components. There is a dark green and a light green and a light purple and a dark purple. And because it comes printed on a tile as well as like in a physical tile format, it can sometimes be really hard to tell those colors apart.
And if you're not in a room with good lights, it's going to get real tricky. Other than that, this is a good game. It is a fun game. If you're really into Azul, this does ramp it up to that next level. But there's just a few caveats.
This is one that we played at a convention at AirCon a while back, and we really enjoyed it. So we purchased it and have played through it. It's Taverns of Tiefenthal?
Tiefenthal?
Tiefenthal, possibly.
I don't know. I haven't been there.
The interesting thing with this is it comes in modules. So it kind of takes you through building up the game bit by bit. And now that we've played through all 5, I think that's how we'll always play the game with all 5 of them. And the premise is you are running a tavern and you are building a deck to give you certain types of bonuses and different customers that you can use. And as you go, you get to upgrade your tavern. So there is a little bit of, it's almost push your luck, but you don't have a choice.
Yeah, it's like a deck building. It's the game pushes your luck and you push, well, yeah, because you just flip out your cards, but you're trying to put yourself in a situation where you can flip more cards, but you're always going to keep flipping cards until it's like, well, that's it, all your seats are full. So you're just trying to build your deck as best you can. And with the modules too, I almost feel like it's kind of teaching you, because it is meant to be a little bit of an entry game, which Wolfgang Warsch is phenomenal at. Quacks of Quedlinburg, which is a full pusher luck game and
Yes.
such a great entry game. But I think those modules really do help kind of ease you into it. But once you've got them all, it feels like that's kind of meant to be the game.
Yeah, it's the full game with all of them. There is dice rolling, but because it's drafting, it's not too bad, and there's a little bit of that sense of like, oh good, the right dice showed up. You get a little bit of joy from that.
Yeah, it's a little controlled randomness.
Yeah, that's Taverns of Tiefenthal.
Our next one, we're not going to talk too much about because we did just do a video on this one. So if you're interested, check out that video. But it is a kind of a heavier co-op version. It's like a version of the game / expansion to the game of Viticulture.
Yeah, if you're familiar with Orleans, it does something similar in terms of taking a excellent competitive game and then adding an option to play it cooperative, which keeps a lot of the similar mechanics and premise of the game, but adds kind of another layer. And so it's kind of that choice when you go to play of, do you want that competitive experience or do you want that cooperative? Unlike some expansions, which just kind of add a slightly different way to play the already one. This is completely different.
Yeah. And like Orleans as well, this is like 6 different ways to play. Orleans had like, how are you giving us this much in a box? And this one feels a little bit similar to that, where there are 6 almost completely different styles of game, all cooperative games within the game. And if you like Viticulture and you like co-op, it's hard, but it's worth playing for sure.
This is a game that we won as part of a raffle at AirCon. It was Mandala Stones, and it sat unopened for a little while. You weren't a big fan of the cover, even though some people love the cover.
I don't like the cover. Makes me feel like it's gonna be it's like a new agey book or something. And don't judge it by its cover.
Yes, what it is an abstract strategy game that looks really nice when it's all set up, and you are just making a simple decision of where to kind of move the black tile and then take matching tiles around that and lay it out on your board. And we've played it 2 players exclusively, and we found it works really well at 2.
Yeah, it totally is. Really smart abstract game. Really does look cool once it's on the table. I was wrong about this one, and I'm really glad that we opened it.
Yes, so we're super happy. We took the seal off and gave it a go.
So we're actually going to talk about 2 Alice in Wonderland games here, which is a theme that I personally love. And the first one is Parade, which is super simple card game that is really, really fun. And this is totally, teach your family and play very quickly. And parents are going to be into this because this has that feel like a trick-taking game or like a rummy or like that sort of thing with that sort of super simplicity to it, but also that competition to it.
Yeah, anybody who's familiar with playing lots of card games will really grasp onto it. But it looks beautiful as well. The art and the back of the cards is all lovely. And it plays 2 to at least 6 and scales great across all of those counts too.
Yeah, I love Alice in Wonderland, which is why I definitely want to talk more about this bad boy, which is a much bigger box and a much bigger game, and that is Wonderland's War. And we did just recently do a video on this where we talk a lot about it. And I feel like even since that, I like it more. There's so much Wonderland in this box. And I think at first I was like, I don't know if the theme connects as much or if it's forced in. And the more I've played it, I'm like, no, I'm wrong. The theme, it needs this theme. The theme is totally connected into it. And I love the theme, and what a great bag building competitive game.
Yeah, and exactly that. It's a really interesting mechanic of building your bag, and it's completely asymmetric because each of the characters, you can be Alice or the Queen of Hearts, and they all very much kind of play to their strengths and play very differently. And check out the video for more, but it has 2 very interesting phases in terms of the cards that you pick and then the area control aspect as well. And super colorful, really, really bright, which just looks great on the table.
And holy cow, does it take up a lot of the table. You gotta have a big table to have this game or be comfortable sitting on the floor. But
the last game that we're talking about is Camel Up. And this is a racing game. It's more of a betting game because you're not trying to get a particular camel across the finish line. You're more betting on which camels are going further ahead. And this is the 2nd edition, which added a few extra elements like camels going backwards, and it's really easy to pick up and play. I've played this with my family. And one of the things that we found is a lot of people don't recommend it for 2 players, but I've really been enjoying our plays at 2.
Yeah, we like it at 2. It's not going to be for everyone at 2 because you do have to play 2 different characters each, and it is hard to not play them as a team. We do kind of play them as a team. Honestly, we try and give ourselves information, then immediately bet on that information. But that's fine, and it still works. It still works fun for us. It is certainly, I think, a better game when you have more players and the chaos of that and betting on the camels. And the camels, of course, if you know anything about camels, stand on each other to make camel towers, just like they do in the wild. It's just fun craziness. Like,
it is chaotic fun.
It's anyone can win it, and it's going to be fun because you don't have a camel. You're just kind of betting on them and cheering for different camels at different times and just enjoying the chaos.
Yeah, and that is Camel Up.
And that is it. That is just our quick takes on a bunch of games that we are into right now. Stuff we're excited about right now. Some of it we don't know that well yet. Some of it, like Dungeons, Dice, and Danger, we just can't get enough of right now, so we've played a lot of that one.
If you've played any of these games, please let us know in the comments what you thought of them and what are you playing these days. We're always looking for recommendations.
We're looking too much for recommendations. I almost feel like being like, don't tell us because we're going to buy them and we buy too many games, but also please tell us.
But please like, subscribe, that really helps us out, and hopefully we'll see you for the next one.